Hey guys, it's me, Freddie. Here's a quick video, or maybe it might be quick. Here's a video on how I do my foundation. Now, there's highlighting, contouring, all that stuff is in there. Now, it's just foundation. If it's something that you're interested in, stay tuned. Remember to like this video, give me a thumbs up, give me any suggestions, any comments, leave them below. All the descriptions, everything that I use will be down below in the description center. Remember to find me on Instagram, look for me on Facebook. Until next time, guys, see you again. Okay, so to start, what I do is I go ahead and I use Max Fix Plus, and I just spray it all over my face. And what it's going to do is going to sort of moisturize my face and get it ready for the makeup. And as that's setting or drying or soaking into the skin, I'm getting my next product ready, which is Max, I think it's Moisture Infusion. And basically it's the same thing or something similar. It's giving my face more moisture because I tend to get a little dry sometimes. So I do just 2 or 3 pumps of that. And what I'll do is I'll try to start in my nose area and sort of work it out away from the center of my face. Bring it down to the neck because I'm going to put foundation down there. And as that's drying, what I'm going to have, or what I'm going to use next is a primer. Now you can use any primer you like. This is one that I sort of like, and it's very, very inexpensive. It's from e.l.f. and it's their Pourless Face Primer. And what it does is sort of fills in all your wrinkles, your large pores. It just helps your foundation go on a lot smoother. Now I take 2 pumps of this. And I start on the bigger areas like my cheeks and my forehead because I tend to get a lot of pores there. And then I work it down into the nose area. And then the rest all over. And now our face is ready for foundation or any product that you're going to put on it. Now the foundation that I like to use, that you probably have seen me use in a couple of videos, is Max Full Coverage Foundation. It comes in a little compress like this. And what it is that a lot of people don't like to use it because it's so heavy and so cakey. I like the fact that it covers everything with not a lot of products, so I don't have to build it up. If it's not something that you like, you can go with something a little bit more finer, like Makeup Forever's. I believe they have an HD one, which is really good. I just tend to have to build that color up because I like full coverage to cover everything. I like it to cover my facial hair that I sort of missed, or any kind of imperfections in my face or discoloration. I like to use that one, but it just takes a little bit longer to sort of fill it up or to build up my color. So I'm going to take the Max Full Coverage, and this is in the color NC45. If I miss any product or whatever I'm using, I'll put it in the description, so just take a look down there if you missed anything. And I take it on a Morphe M439. It's really good. It's almost like a kabuki type of brush. I took this, or I got this brush idea from Patrick Starr. It's really large, so it covers a lot of area, and it blends it out really, really perfectly. Like almost like if you had an airbrush foundation or airbrush routine on. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start packing on the color. Now, you're going to notice that I sort of pack it on first, and then I blend it away later. Now, any part that I really wanted to cover, I pack that on there. You're going to see me sort of focus more on that area, because when it's too heavy there, I'll just blend it away later. Now here underneath my chin area, where like your beard or your 5 o'clock shadow shows, I tend to pack it on there a lot, and then I sort of blend it away very in small increments, only because I want it to stay on that area. Now this part sucks if you're going to wear something like a collared shirt or something that's going to be on your neck. If so, just put a lot of powder there so it doesn't tend to wear out or rub off on your clothes. Okay. Now I'm just blend it in. And then I'm going to bring the color all the way down the neck because I don't want it to look like a color difference or the start of the foundation and the start of your regular skin tone. So depending on what you're wearing, you're going to bring that foundation all the way down. Don't forget behind the ears. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my highlight on. And I use LA Pro concealer. I believe it's an HD concealer. I'm going to show you the areas to place this. I put it right on with the tip. This is in the color Pure Beige. I'll show you where to put it on. I just sort of squeeze out a bit. And I start underneath my eyes, and I make sure I go all the way into my eye duct here. And I sort of make like a little triangle like this. And I fill it all in. You can use a lot less product if you don't like the look of a highlight. I really like the look of highlight, so I tend to pack it on nice because I just blend it all in later on. And I'm putting it right on top of my foundation that I just put on, and it sort of like mutes the color a little bit, but it still gives you that really nice highlighted look. And make sure you take it all the way up to the lash line, or to the lash line. Now take it down your nose, a little on top of my lip here. I put a little bit here because I naturally have a jaw that's sort of sunken in a little bit, so I tend to put a little bit there just so I can bring my jawline out. And if you notice, I put a little line on both sides, if you noticed from my last video, I'd say. And to blend that away, I used my beauty blender. I wet it up a little bit with Max Fix Plus, and then I work in the areas where I want the highlight to be the brightest first. So that is underneath my eyes, and you're going to see I do those two areas first, and then I sort of blend everything else away. And I do that because the beauty blender will still have more product on it, so I don't want to just go there and then go to this area and then sort of move around. So I tend to stick to these areas first because I want those to be the brightest. Now sometimes I'll bring the highlight all the way up. For this video I probably won't. I don't want to do that effect today because this is sort of something that I'm not going out with today. So what I do is, just so that I don't have this harsh line, I take the back of the beauty blender and I sort of dab it away until it sort of melts into the skin. You can do the same thing on the other side. Now I'm going to work on down the nose, blend that line out, up to the forehead, chin area. And the last part I do is the jaw area because I'm going to highlight it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the back side of it because it has less product. Now later on I'm going to use a powder to sort of highlight a little bit more. What I do is I use all my creams or all my creamy products first, and then I set it all, and then I highlight and contour a little bit more with my powders. You don't have to do it that way. You can just do your foundation and highlight with your powders if you like to. I like to have sort of a base and then sort of build it up more if I want more of an intense highlight or contour. So for contouring, I use full coverage foundation from MAC, the same one that I use for my highlight. It is a foundation, but I actually just use it for a contour. This one's in the color NW50, and I use it on a Real Technique angled foundation brush. It looks something like this. You can use it on any kind of, you can use this one with any kind of synthetic brush. I do this one only because of the line that it gives me, and it's easy to blend away. So you can pick it up. I mean, they're super inexpensive. And I'm going to show you where to place your contour. The purpose of a contour is to sort of shadow the area, or sink it in, or to give your a face a slimmer appearance, or your nose a slimmer appearance. The highlight, it's going to bring it out. Contour is going to bring it back. So with that said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to want to go ahead and sort of chisel out my jaw or my cheekbones. What you're going to do is you're going to sort of find your cheekbone, and if you want to put your highlight there as far as make it look a little bit more natural, because I know drag queens, they sort of create their own contour lines or highlight areas, but again, this is an everyday type of look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it from my sideburns here, and I'm going to go down the jawline, and I'm not going to blend it away until I placed all my highlight on. I'm just going to show you where to place it. So sideburns, Some people curve it up if you want to give yourself more of a lifted sort of cheek. I don't. I tend to like to leave the straight line. It makes my face look a little bit more slim. Same thing on the other side. And because I have such a large forehead, I want to sort of slim it down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just do around the temples and sort of work around my hairline. It's going to make my face seem a lot more ovalish or slimmed. And I use the same brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put right on the temple on both sides. And then I'm going to work my way around in this area here. So whatever's behind that line, I'm going to put product in there. Now closer to the hairline, I tend to put a lot more, only because I want it to sort of seam into it and not have like areas like this that are a little bit lighter. So I'm going to work it right into the hairline there. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my jawline. Now, I sort of don't have a jawline, so I'm going to create one. Now, to create it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw it out. And then when I'm ready to blend, I'll blend it away and not blend the line away so harshly. I'm going to put a little bit underneath my lip here. Now, that's going to make my lip seem a little bit more plump or a little bit larger, which is what I like. I'm going to just put a little bit there. And then last area here is down my nose. I want my nose to appear a little bit more slim. So remember where we put the highlight? We're going to put it directly right next to it on the bridge of our nose. Now I use the same brush. I just sort of squeeze it a little so it can get a little bit more fine. You can definitely use a smaller brush. I don't see the need to waste more product, so or to waste more time, I guess you would say. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing this with foundation, definitely do your nose contouring with your powder if that's something that you're interested in doing. Some people don't actually contour their nose at all. I do because I want a smaller nose, but I don't want to pay to get it done. Now remember to connect the pieces at the bottom because you don't want to have this weird elongated nose unless that's what you want. Now I'm going to connect it right up to the bridge or to the beginning of my eyebrow here. And I'm going to get ready to start blending it all the way. Now after I've blended everything is when I'm going to start my eyebrow, so it won't look like a weird long eyebrow that goes all the way down, especially after you've blended it all out. I just use the same brush. I just clean off any extra product that's on there. Now, as far as the cheek area, what I'm going to do to blend it, you're going to see that I'm going to start lifting some of the color upwards. I don't want to go too far in because I still want my highlight to look elevated or higher, but I don't want the harsh line to begin there. So I'm going to start taking small strokes and lifting it up towards the highlight. Now the rest of the product, I blend it downwards. Now if you like this whole jawline sort of showing out, which is what I do, or which is what I like, I'll blend it but not too far or not all the way down to the jaw, to the end or to the jawline there. So just to get rid of the harsh line, I'll blend it down. Same thing on the other side. Clean off any extra product that might be on my brush. Okay, what I'm going to do next is my forehead. Now, I want to blend all that extra product into my hairline because I don't want it to show sort of the lightness of my scalp here. And then any extra product on your brush, you make sure you wipe off because now we're going to start blending inwards towards our highlight. So we want to make sure that we do this very gently because you don't want to go too far in because it's just going to make your head look really out of shape and really deformed. So take small strokes, blend in. Again, I'm going to clean off my brush, and now I'm going to work on my nose. So the nose, I want this sort of harsh line there, but I don't want it to look like a line. So I'm going to start blending it away from the highlighted area. Now, not all the way down into my highlight down here under my eye, but sort of where the nose went. Clean off any extra. Same thing on the other side.
Under the lip.
Okay, now as far as the jawline, like I said, I like this harsh line that it gives me, but I don't want it to look crazy, like having a black liner or a black marker underneath my jaw. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start pulling that color, or pulling that foundation, away or onto my neck area. When I get to behind the ear, I blend it all the way up because you want that area, you want the contrast, or you want it to cast a shadow on that area. And naturally, of course, if the sun is hitting us, it's going to cast a shadow behind our ear. So that's what we want to do with the foundation, or with the contour. Try to make sure that they look even, because you don't want your jawline or your highlight or even your foundation to show a little bit lower than this side, because when you take pictures, it looks very, very weird. Now, next step you can do is you can take your beauty blender if you want and sort of mute anything that you sort of miss or areas that you feel a little darker. I'm going to leave it this way because I'm just going to set it all with a powder, and I'm going to actually highlight or contour a little bit more with more powder. So what I use, Airspun, and I'll show you, and I'll list all the products on, like I said, on the description below. But it's very full coverage type of setting powder, and I get the translucent color, so it won't put any color on my face. Now, sometimes it tends to leave your face a little ashy, so what I do is I sort of bring in more color by putting like a bronzer or something over it, and then I'll contour a little bit more. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use a powder puff here, and you're gonna see that I really pack it on because I want to make sure this foundation is set and not going anywhere. And also it fills in any lines or any kind of cracks or pores that are in your skin. So I take a lot, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start off on the areas where I highlighted, and we're just gonna pack that into the foundation here. This is gonna make sure that your makeup, it will not go anywhere. It will not budge. Make sure you put some on your neck here. And now I look like a clown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start dusting it off. Now, I tend to let it sort of sit sometimes, and I go grab something to eat or something to drink. And then I sort of brush it off. This is going to make sure that the product really stays into the pores. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take it off now so we can go ahead and start with the next product. And I'm just using a regular fan brush here. Well, not a regular one that's quite large. Okay, now you're going to notice that it's sort of washed out the heavy lines of all the contouring and highlighting. You can sort of still see it because it is a translucent powder. But what I do is to bring color back into my face, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start putting a little bit of bronzer. Now, as far as bronzer, I use MAC's Mineralizing Foundation or Mineralizing Powder in the shade Dark. And I sort of put this a little bit all over my face, and then I sort of really darken up on the areas where I want to contour a little more. And I also contour with another product, so if I don't like how dark it is, I'll contour a little bit more with something a little darker. And I'm just going to put it on with a MAC 138. I like this brush because it's sort of tapered at the end, and it sort of lets you get in to like the little eye socket area. And if you wanted to sort of carve, you can carve with the tip of the brush too. I start on the areas where I contoured, where I placed the darker foundation. Now again, this is just to bring sort of the life back into our face because of the setting powder being so heavy. It sort of will ash or make your face dulled out again. So this is just to put some color back. Now if you really focus it into an area, it will start to contour or to sort of chisel out the face, which is what I like, or which is what I'm going to do. But right now I'm just putting color back into my face. Alright, now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use some powder to highlight the areas that I highlighted, because I really like an intense highlight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Ben 9's banana powder, and I'll write it in the description below. And I use a small powder puff here, and you're going to notice the way I do it is I really pack on the color, like I basically what I just did with my setting powder. And I'm going to just do it on the same exact areas that I placed my my highlight foundation, or concealer I should say. Try to keep this line as straight as possible when you're doing all these things, only because you don't want your nose to sort of look deformed or crooked or anything. Or if you actually have a bump or a crooked nose, you actually can straighten it by doing this, so, or give you the illusion of a straighter nose. Now here is where I would start doing my eyebrows. Now if you want to know how I do my eyebrows, I have another video. Check it out. It's just basically just an eyebrow routine. If you're not going to do your eyebrows, or if you've already done your eyebrows, you just have to be careful that all this powder doesn't really go all over it. I like this highlighting powder to set in. So what I'll do is I'll start working on my contouring areas now. Now I told you before that I put my mineralizing powder all over, but now I'm going to start really focusing on the areas where I want my contour to be, which is my area to be a little bit more hidden. So I'm going to build up, I'm going to get some product, but if you notice I only put it on one side all the way to the tip of the brush. And again, this is the MAC 138, and I'm going to just start to carve out the area where I want to contour, which is exactly where we put the darker foundation earlier. Now I'm actually going to do this with something a little darker because I want a darker contour, but I won't do it on all the areas. I'll just do it on the areas where I want to really sort of chisel it out or sort of really darken up. I'm also going to do my nose area. Now I'm just using a small fluffy angled brush here. And I'll pick a product, but I'm going to try to clean off as much product as I can because I don't want to have any foliage on areas where I don't want. Now this is the area where I'm telling you, you have to keep it very, very still because you don't want to have any kind of crooked nose here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off right underneath the eyebrow. And I'm going to work it all the way down. Remember to connect it at the tip. And now I'm just going to blend it down because I don't want to have any harsh line here. And all this is going to do is make me have an appearance of a smaller nose. Remember, contour hides, highlight brings out. Alright, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take a darker color, a darker powder. And I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to use e.l.f.'s mineralizing powder brush. It's more of a dome tapered type of look. And this is going to go ahead and help me really focus on the area where I want to darken. I'm using NYC's color wheel. It's I believe it's the color All Over Bronze Glow, and it looks just like this. It's like a lot of different shades of browns, and you have some highlights in there. But I sort of swirl it all over because I want to pick up all the color. And now I'm just focusing on the actual jawline here, or on the cheekbone. So I'm going to start carving that area out. But I'm only going to do it on the cheek area because I want this to look a little bit more slimmed. So to clean off any highlighted areas, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use my my big fan brush again. And I'm just going to dust off any area. And you're going to see that it may give you like a nice glow, but if depending on your skin tone, if you're not happy with it, you can put a little bit more bronzer over it, which is the mineralizing powder. You can put a little bit more in that area if you're not happy with such a harsh line, but I really like the whole appearance of the harsh line. Well, not the appearance of a harsh line. I like people to know that where I want the highlight areas to be. I'm actually going to make put a little bit more of the darker powder underneath my jawline. I want that to sort of sink away and hide away. I'm taking it with the same brush that I used. If you feel more comfortable with the MAC 138, then you can use that one. And basically this is the end of the highlighting and contouring. Next, of course, I would go ahead and put some blush or some like a different type of highlighter here. And I don't have my highlighter out, but you guys can probably see it in my last video. But as far as foundation, this is where I stop. This is all the foundation I use. Now, after I've done all my makeup, I would go ahead and I would set it again with some MAC Fix Plus. If you feel like it's a little bit powdery, the MAC Fix Plus is definitely going to blend everything down and make it look all flawless. So, I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope you guys really enjoy it. If you have any comments or any suggestions on what I can do better, or if you have any questions as far as what you can do or the products that I'm using, let me know in the comments section. Send me a message. Hit me up on Instagram. Find me on Facebook, all that stuff. I hope you guys really enjoy. Let me know what you guys want to see next. As far as foundation, this is it. This is what I do all the time. If I do anything differently, I'll come up with a new routine. But I hope you guys like it. All right.